Them shoes is hard as hell.
I hardly wear them. See, they look new on the bottom because heels just ain't the thing. You see, I carried them in the room.
How many pair of shoes that you got that you ain't wore yet?
I feel like I've worn them all. I might have like one. I've worn them all. It's just like, how long did I wear them? Like, I don't really wear shoes that much.
Chanel or Bottega?
Chanel. That's the simplest, easiest question you ask me all day.
So Chanel?
Why Chanel?
That part.
Why Chanel?
Yeah.
Oh, because, like, they make classic, timeless. I mean, Bottega does too, but Chanel, and I'm not talking about the Chanel, like, the fucking Chanel that they try to make streetwear. I'm talking about the Chanel. Real true silhouettes of Chanel. The cardigans, the jackets, the shoes, the boots, the drip, the staple Chanel pieces you can pull out, not like the, like, trendy stuff, not the sneakers and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the true, we call that the heritage pieces at Chanel, right? Those, Chanel, I choose that first. Bottega, I'm not really super into their heritage goes back to basket weave leathers and stuff. I'm not really into that. That's kind of like, they've done a good job of revamping it and make it useful, but I want to see what they do more long term before I ever put them over Chanel. Like, I can't do it.
Top 3 designers.
Currently or like of all time?
All time.
Oh. Damn, that's a hard question. Some designers fuck up some seasons. I would say McQueen. Women's wear is crazy. Jean-Paul Gaultier. And probably Issa Miyake. Because Issa Miyake just did something I never seen do in my life. And I just love it. It just looks so cool.
Most expensive heel.
What do you mean? That I own?
Yeah.
I don't really know, but I feel like a lot of my shoes somehow they be $1,500 and $2,000. So I think that somewhere in that number, 2,000 with something with tax. So I don't think I ever really went over like 24 for a shoe. I'm not there yet.
Shit, $2,400 for some shoes is there.
I probably would eat peanut butter and jelly after I did like a week or 2, 3.
You cool with it right there? I can move if you want.
Yeah, how do you want me to put, where do you want it to be?
I can put it back right there. I just don't, I know women don't want their purse on the floor.
Oh, that's like some bullshit.
Okay, my
bad. Because that's like, it's basically a superstition. That if you put your purse on the floor, then you won't have money. And I don't believe in superstitions. And I definitely don't believe that where I put my purse is dictating my future. So I'm not gonna.
That part.
We're not doing that.
So I take it you don't get into the whole what's your sign thing, do you?
Oh, I do fuck with astrology. I definitely subscribe to being a Virgo, but I don't subscribe to like superstition. Astrology, that's totally different. That's like has to do with like real shit, like the planets, where they were, where the sun was, where the moon was, and like if you really go back and you like do the work and you like look at your numerology and things like that, it's like that shit's real. Like I know other people that I share common things with. I've done comparisons. It's not like I don't believe in like the bullshit magazine horoscopes, like would they probably pay somebody $200 to make up something for the article. Like the ones that are very blanket for everybody, I don't necessarily believe in those as much. They're very vague. They're very vague too. Like, but I do believe in like really like looking at the time you were born, the day, everything, and coming up with your actual like numerology, astrological sign. I share some creative signs exactly in alignment with Kanye, so like, and I know like when I see it, like I'm like, that's what it is. Like, and people that I share like certain signs, certain parts of like the sun signs and stuff with, we have so much similarity. So I do believe in that. I do believe that what was going on in time definitely dictates or can dictate behavior patterns.
Yes, ma'am. I agree as well with your birth. Whenever you were sent to the earth, your soul, I guess, was entered into your body type of thing. I definitely agree. I think we were here before or it's from somewhere else. And we were just experiencing it here. But before we get too deep.
Right, at the beginning of the interview, we deep right in the dough.
We done got the races out the way and where you're from.
You better not put that on.
Yeah, alien. No, I ain't gonna do it. We ain't even gonna start it till right now. Introduce yourself to the people, if you will.
Oh my God. So I'm Brandy Penelope. I go by Brandy Penelope. I'm from Chicago, and I am a creative director and a wardrobe stylist. More so, creative director. That's what I'm like forging forward as being like versus a wardrobe stylist. I'm gonna start dictating out being a wardrobe stylist versus doing the work. But yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Real quick though, before we get into it, heels or gym shoes?
Damn. For the rest of my life, you gotta be more specific. That's too like.
So okay, the girl's saying, okay, let's go out.
Oh, if I'm going out, I'm gonna try to wear some heels, just because if I'm just like going out, it depends on the capacity. Like if I'm already straight, I'm taken care of, I know where I'm going. I wear gym shoes. I wear gym shoes, sneakers, wherever. I don't call them gym shoes. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Like, I'm from Chicago. I do not say gym shoes. I don't like the way that sounds because they're not for gym. I wear sneakers.
I ain't never called gym shoes sneakers.
I used to say gym shoes when I was little, and then as I got older, I realized it sounded kind of crazy to say gym shoes. So I just stopped saying that. I don't know. But I wear sneakers. I wear sneakers all the time, and I would wear sneakers whenever I could. Like in Chicago, we can't just go to the club with sneakers on unless you paying for a table or something like that. So I don't know. I think that our culture kind of made me be like, but if I'm in like Miami or something, and you're not with the right people, you have to wear heels. Like certain clubs don't go for that. But you know, if I'm straight, I'm with who I need to be with. I don't go out that much no more anyway. But if I'm with who I need to be with, I'm wearing sneakers and jogging bands. I'm not dressing up to go to the club because fuck them people.
That part. So I'm guessing it's sneakers then I almost said gym shoes.
It's just like gym shoes. I'm not mad at people saying it. I just feel like it sounds like a little kid word. Like my gym shoes. Like, I don't know. They're not just gym. They're not for gym.
So what you call Jordans?
Mike's.
Mike's. Okay. Not J's, Jordan, just Mike's instantly.
Mike's.
What's your favorite pair of Mike's?
That's such a low-key hard question, but I guess I'm gonna just go ahead and say the Carmines because like of the nostalgia behind them, and like I feel like the design that was put into them was really cool. I never seen anything like that. And like Home Alone and all that, like that was a vibe. The Carmines and the button, you know, the color like the original red Carmines, those fire. But I like a lot of Jordans.
So give me the top three then.
Obviously, like anybody gonna say a Jordan 1, so I don't want to be predictable. I really love the Jordan 2 silhouette. Like I like the Jordan 2 silhouette. I think it's different. Like it's not. I don't know. It's just I'm into like design. So like certain things, like the lines and the way that it looks designed. Like Tinker Hatfield actually designed these shoes. Like I don't know. Nowadays they just copy off. I appreciate the design behind those silhouettes, right? So I guess top three would be Carmine's. So hard. I like so many. I like the 4s. I like the 5s. I like the 11s. Like the design in the 11s is crazy. Like I like the 8s. Like the Aqua 8s. I like the 8s. Like the 8s fire. Like I don't know. I pretty much like all Jordans up until number maybe 13. That's about it.
I think 13 is the wings, right?
I don't know, but I just know that if I can't remember like exactly what the 13s look like, I didn't like them, and then I stopped liking them after that. But I like the 11s and I like the 12s. Yeah.
Okay, so we got the gym shoes out the way. What about the heels? What are some of your favorite heels?
I don't really have favorite heels, like because this is gonna be the worst. This is gonna be the most crazy interview. People gonna be like, "What is wrong with her?" Like I don't really like heels. I just wear heels because it's like it's like the thing you're supposed to do when you get like a certain like age, or like as a woman, like the thing you're supposed to do, you're supposed to embrace like femininity and like be feminine. But they've never been comfortable. I don't like them. I only like them like with a fit or something. So like I got on heels because it did this look better with heels than it did with a fit. I have to acknowledge that heels just look better sometimes, right? Like you wearing a dress, it look better with heels or
Most
something,
definitely.
right?
It would be kind of crazy. You look like you gliding though if you had on mics.
It just would look a little childish. So basically, I guess I'm saying that I don't really have a favorite pair of heels.
I was thinking it goes with the fit, as you said. It depends on what you got on.
Yeah, and then it's like I make myself like it because I like the bigger picture, not because I like the heels themselves.
So it sounds like you're saying that culture influences you. I kind of would think it would be the other way around. You influence the culture.
It's not heels. Is heel. Okay, so this is like, I don't know if I would view that as like I'm being influenced by the culture. I view it as like there's certain like, I don't subscribe to societal rules, right? I really don't. And I have had like boyfriends in the past be like, one day you're gonna grow up and you're gonna stop wearing sneakers all the time. And I'm just like, maybe I won't grow up and stop wearing, like maybe I won't, but at the end of the day, like some places you go, you have to acknowledge that you have to like look a little bit more like dressed up. I don't know. And we don't really, I mean, besides like a sneaker ball or something, it's like, why would you be wearing a dress with some sneakers? Like a full-on dress. Like I can see like in the summer just like a cute sundress and you got on some cool like chill sneakers, like some ones. But like for the most part, you're not wearing, as a woman, it's like you're just like, you have to wear heels sometimes. So it's some type of dressy or shoe. Like, so I don't know. Yes, I guess I hope you edit that part out because it's like I sound like.
No, you good, baby. I promise you don't sound bad at all. But I'm not gonna make you look foolish and like that on especially young women.
Yeah, I guess I'm just saying that if I had a choice for the rest of my life, I would never put on heels again. Like I wouldn't wear them. And that's just what it is. I will wear sneakers everywhere I go. But the reality is that sometimes a chunky boot or a heel or something looks really good. It complements
it just sets the
aesthetic. Yeah, it's just like you have to go with the aesthetic sometimes.
So
like,
the outfit is number one then. The
aesthetic, yeah. It's not about the fit. It's about the aesthetic. Like, what are you trying to communicate? What is the vibe of the outfit, right? The outfit is secondary to the overall aesthetic and the purpose of like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
If you get dressed with intention, if you move with intention, right? It's like I don't know if I'm allowed to say, like right now he's sitting here, he has an aesthetic. This is his aesthetic is biker today, right? And it's like you wouldn't put on some Nike Shox with your biker jacket. Like, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't put on some not even, maybe you could do an Air Jordan 1 because, I mean, Air Jordan 1s go with, like, biker. Certain things, Kanye.
How slim they are.
You know what I'm saying? That's the Kanye era, the biker, you know, with the AJ ones. I mean, but I'm just saying that sometimes you have to commit fully to your aesthetic.
That part. Since we did introduce yourself, they can hear you over the mic.
Oh, I'm Chadman.
Chadman's acting kind of shy today.
He just did a whole interview. And he's
in front of the camera, an hour and a half. Now you acting shy. It's all love. He's the guy on the motorcycle, or in front of the motorcycle, should I say? Were you a tomboy growing up, Miss Brandy P?
Yes, and that's probably another reason I don't really fuck with heels that much. Like I'll be 100% honest. I have always, and I don't even think, and even that, like honestly, I accept that you're saying that you're calling that because that's how we refer to it, so somebody know what we're talking about. But like I never subscribed to like tomboy. Like what does that even mean? I'm not dressed like a boy. I'm dressed comfortable. Like I'm dressed like what I wore dresses and stuff as a girl too. But I'm saying like, why would I do that on a regular basis? Like where were we going as kids for real? That we needed
for real, right?
Like where were we going? We just wanted to play.
Get some McDonald's if we could.
Get some right. So like I just feel like I always wanted to be comfortable. Like that's what it was about. And I feel like those types of like, you know, those types of like categorizations that limit people from an early age, I don't like that. So like I don't like the whole like idea of tomboy, whatever. Like if you a girl and you want to wear jogging pants. Like, why I gotta be a tomboy because I want to wear jogging pants? Like, I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah,
like, I just want to do, like, I'm outside. Like, what am I doing?
When you say you understood what I meant by the tomboy phrase, it sounds like, and you give out the essence of the 80s era, but you definitely don't look like you an 80s baby. I'm an 80s baby, true and true. And where do you get the sauce, the drip? Because, like, again, it doesn't sound like you from back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I was born in the 80s. I don't know, does that make me an 80s baby because I was born in the 80s? So I guess I'm an 80s baby, like, you know, but at the end of the day, that is, I don't even think it's that, like, the 80s, my mother was dictating my fashion, right? I mean, I was so little, like, my mother was dictating my fashion. It really is the 90s that really put the flavor in most people that, you know, might have been born in the 80s or whatever, depending on, like, if you're born on the low end of the 80s or high end of the 80s. But I just recall, like, in the 90s when I was, like, getting to decide, like, who I want to be and, like, what I want to wear. And, like, in the 90s, like, we was into hip-hop, so.
And you born and raised Chicago? Mm-hmm. So the Jordan era really touched you, and the hip-hop era, as you said.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, obviously seeing Michael Jordan and being, like, around and really remembering as a kid some of those moments. I remember some of those moments I don't remember. Some of them I do, but I'm saying it was really hip-hop. I'm not even finna say it was Mike. Like, obviously it was Mike. I was in the penny, honestly, but at the end of the day, the hip-hop era is what did it. So, like, the magazines that we were seeing and, like, people, like, the hip-hop shows that were on TV and, like, Aaliyah and, like, that type of stuff was, like, influential for me personally. I don't know about, you know, like, trying to feel like I had to be a girly girl, because, like, I feel like we were able to cross over. We were shown that was okay. They're older than me, but I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, like,
that's who you looking
that's
up
what
to.
I was looking up to. Like, I'm looking up to those people. So, like,
the Left Eyes and the
I'm looking up to Left Eye. I'm looking up to Mary J. Blige, and, like, they were street, but they were, like, fly and still feminine. Like, it was a feminine street.
That part.
That's kind of what I'm more so like, you know, like, feminine street.
And I guess we labeled it tomboy, but it's, like you said, feminine street. And that's one reason I want to interview you, because you're living out loud. I love a person who gets to live out loud. Most people don't get to be themselves. I don't know, why. Is it like a choice for them not being themselves, or is it fear? What is it? What makes you comfortable with just being Brandy P?
I don't know, G. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, I'm from Chicago. I don't know too many timid Chicago females. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, we pretty, like, we are what we are. You either gonna fuck with us or not. And, like, we just ourselves. Like, I don't see too many phony Chicago females from a standpoint of, like, who you want to be for real. Like, I think we got a real good sense of pride as women in Chicago. We know what we want for the most part, and we're able to, like, be like, hell no, or, you know what I'm saying, yeah, you know, like, we don't feel like we have to fit into, like, these rules. Like, I know women from the South that are more like, yes, ma'am, you know, sir, and this and that. We didn't really do that. We just kind of, like, I don't know, like, I can't explain it. I think it's just the Chicago in me, honestly. I really accredit, like, where I'm from for, like, a lot of my confidence. And then also, I don't know, like, I'm an only child, so, like, I ain't really.
You were spoiled.
I didn't have nobody to really tell me to sit down or do nothing. I was doing what I want to do all the time anyway. So it's kind of like, and was I spoiled? A person from the outside looking in might say I was spoiled, but I mean, I was a latchkey kid. I was raised. My mom was a single parent. Like, I had to learn how to cook for myself, take the bus. Like, I had to take the bus home, be at home by myself sometimes. Like, I mean, she bought me clothes. That's how I got into fashion, because my mother used to work at a department store. She used to bring me, like, a lot of fashion, a lot of designer stuff. But I'm saying, if that's spoiled, then I guess. But at the end of the day, she showed me how to work hard. So I don't think I was spoiled, because, like, if I got bad grades or some shit, like, she would take my sneakers from me. She would have my telephone. Like, that to me I don't know. I feel like kids supposed to be given like the basics. It's not really spoiling unless they don't understand them, like they don't appreciate what's being given to them. That's when you spoil.
You took the word right out of my mouth. When a parent makes you well-rounded like that, and you have to work for it, that makes you appreciate it. Okay, yeah, I can't be fucking off and getting F's and still gonna get the new mics that come out.
Right. Or if I got them and then the F's came like the week after this, she would just take them and put them up somewhere I couldn't find them. You know, like, yeah, she wasn't going on none of that.
At what age would you say you realized you got the sauce?
Honestly, I don't like to talk about myself. I'm not really that type of person, but I would say my peers was calling me best dressed. I won best dressed in high school. My peers was telling me I was best dressed in grade school, but it was kind of unfair because my mother was working at the time it was Marshall Fields, so like it was kind of unfair. Like she like would be bringing
fuck with you, what you
yeah, like I mean, she was bringing me so much stuff, you know, just like obviously when you work in retail, I used to work in retail. When you work in retail, you get discount on your clothes. You get to see like the clothes when they first go on sale. You get to hide stuff, put it up to go on sale. You get a little bit of a like exclusive access to fashion. So I guess I would say that it was just unfair. And then because my mother was in fashion and she knew these brands, brands that people talk about now, like my mother was wearing like all that designer like Missoni and Gaultier and all that, like she was wearing all that then, and my mother was young too, kind of like she was in her 20s, 30s raising me, so I'm just like, I see it, like I'm like, oh, so she knew where to go to get the stuff, and she bring me stuff when they first got it, like, and it was different, I wouldn't say, so people were impressed by that, but I was kind of a nerd though, honestly. I was a nerd, but I was fly. That was the crazy part. I had glasses and braces and shit, but I was fly as hell, so couldn't nobody really say nothing to me for real, because they like, her little four-eyed ass is fly, you know what I'm saying? So
she got every new mic.
She got everything. I had all anything you could think. I had everything.
That's what's in right now though, fly nerds.
Now that's what's in.
Yeah,
that wasn't what was in then. I didn't even have a boyfriend or like, when like, I wasn't like that girl that boys was looking at for real. I was a real slow developed woman. Like, I didn't start like doing much until after high school. So it's kind of like, I was really skinny too. So I was just like this like 90-pound skinny girl with big baggy like clothes.
Would you still consider yourself a nerd right now?
No. But I also don't think it's nothing wrong with being, am I a nerd? Okay, so what made me a nerd? I think it was really just like, I wasn't really a nerd. They thought I was a nerd because I had glasses and braces. But now, like, I got straight ass teeth because I had braces, so the joke's on them, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, no, I don't consider myself to be a nerd. I never considered myself to be a nerd. Even then, I knew I wasn't a nerd. It's just that was what, it was like Steve Urkel back then, so it was like, people thought like, oh, that's a fucking nerd, like, but I don't see a nerd. I never saw a nerd in myself, so no.
Yes, ma'am. It's all love to be a nerd. I'm a nerd. I like being a nerd.
But what makes you a nerd though? Like, why you say that? Because like, what is a nerd? A smart person? Because like my son, if people could start calling my son smart as fuck, and if they say he a nerd, I'm gonna be like, yo, they just salty because they stupid or something. Because like, what is a nerd?
I think that's what it is. It's the fact that it goes against the grain. Of hip hop culture is more based on like the adverse. So we think dumb is cool. We think smart is bad. You know what I mean? So because you got to be a dumb brute to be the big man in hip hop, the adverse is the nerd. So that means you ain't the good thing. But now once we grow older and realize, okay, the nerd is the guy with all the money because he made the smart decisions versus getting the instant gratification, we starting to see that the nerd is the one that we supposed to be looking at in the first place.
All it is the same thing as the other thing we talked about, and it's just like people, when you're younger, they try to group you into these groups to make you insecure or out of their own insecurities, because at the end of the day, like, them people wasn't never nerds. Them people was just focused on something else. Them people was maybe focused on computers or focused on coding or focused on something that other people wasn't on, like, I don't know. I don't really believe in like it being nerds. Like those people was just into what they was into, and it paid off later in their life because they was already interested in it and they put the hours in. So like, I don't believe in like that nerd stuff. Like even like I named my son Cool, so he don't even gotta go through that. Like nobody's gonna be able to tell him what's one thing, what's another, because he already named Cool, so he could just be who he wanna be. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I think they get back to that labels thing. Don't put nothing in the box, pretty much. Just live,
like
live out loud.
As kids, we let people do that, but it's like that's not even most of the time. Like I used when I grew up, I lived not that far from the projects, but I lived in a very affluent area, but it was by the project. It was not that far from Cabrini Green. So the kids at school used to like make fun of me, like basically like this particular kid, this particular girl, she used to like make fun of me and be like saying stuff, bothering me all the time on the bus. And later in life, it came out like we ended up going to high school together. And she actually worked with my cousin and everything now, and she always be asking about me. And it's crazy because later in life, she gave me such a hard time trying to fight me like twice, like embarrassed me in front of the kids on the school bus. Crazy. Later in life, she just ended up telling me like she only bullied me and bothered me like that because she was basically like jealous